The London 2012 Olympics brought plenty of iconic sporting moments, but one of the most intriguing from a footballing perspective was the return of a Team GB men's football squad for the first time since 1960. For a younger generation, it was a once-in-a-lifetime sight, British players from across clubs and backgrounds lining up together in the same shirt. But not all of Britain was represented. Due to political and footballing sensitivities, Scotland and Northern Ireland declined to release players, leaving the squad made up entirely of English and Welsh talent. Under Olympic football rules, only 3 players over the age of 23 were allowed, which gave the team a unique blend of seasoned pros and emerging stars. Managed by Stuart Pearce, the team began with a draw against Senegal, followed by wins over the UAE and Uruguay. Finishing top of their group, momentum was building, until a tense quarter-final against South Korea ended in a penalty shootout defeat that brought the campaign to a sudden halt. It was short and bittersweet, but for many, that team left a lasting impression. Some of the players involved would go on to become Premier League mainstays, international regulars, or even club legends. Others faded into the background, fell down the leagues, or walked away from the game entirely. And for all of them, 2012 was a unique crossroads in their career. So in this episode of Retro Football Club, we ask the question, who were the players of Team GB in 2012? And where are they now? Let's find out. In 2012, Jack Butland was seen as one of England's brightest goalkeeping prospects. Just 19 years old, he was part of Team GB's Olympic squad, fresh off the back of an impressive loan spell at Cheltenham Town, and having just broken into the Birmingham City first team. That summer, he had already made headlines as the youngest goalkeeper ever to be called up for a senior England squad, even before making his club debut in the Championship. After the Olympics, Butland became a full England international in 2012, earning his first senior cap in a friendly against Italy. His performances at Birmingham earned him a move to Stoke City in 2013, but with Asmir Begovic ahead of him, he was loaned out multiple times, including stints at Barnsley, Leeds and Derby County, before finally claiming the number 1 shirt at Stoke. By the 2015-16 season, Butland was flying, putting in some solid performances and even earning an England recall. However, a horrific ankle injury, while on international duty in 2016, halted his rise just as he was pushing Joe Hart for the starting England role. Although he returned to play regularly for Stoke, both he and the club struggled for consistency, and he remained part of the England squad only sporadically. In total, Butland earned 9 senior England caps, with most of his involvement coming as a squad player during the Gareth Southgate era. After Stoke's relegation from the Premier League, his stock faded. In 2020, he joined Crystal Palace as a backup, but rarely featured. A loan move to Manchester United in 2023 raised a few eyebrows, but he didn't play a single competitive game. It wasn't until summer 2023 that he found a new spark, signing for Rangers in the Scottish Premiership. At Ibrox, Butland quickly re-established himself as a first-choice goalkeeper, impressing fans with commanding displays and helping to steady the ship after some shaky seasons. And as of July 2025, Butland remains a Rangers player. Back in 2012, Jason Steele was just 21 years old and making a name for himself as Middlesbrough's number 1. Selected as one of Team GB's 2 goalkeepers for the London Olympics, Steele was seen as a solid, reliable presence between the sticks, though he didn't feature during the tournament itself, acting as backup to Jack Butland. After the Olympics, Steele continued with Borough, making over 140 appearances for the club. He later had spells at Blackburn Rovers, followed by a move to Sunderland in 2017, a stint that became infamous through the Sunderland Till I Die documentary. His time at the Stadium of Light was turbulent, and he left after just 1 season. In 2018, he joined Brighton and Hove Albion, initially as a backup option. Over time, however, Steele grew into a more trusted figure, earning praise under Roberto De Zerbi, particularly for his ball-playing ability. By the 2022-23 Premier League season, he had forced his way into the starting lineup and was part of Brighton's impressive run to Europa League qualification. As of 2025, Jason Steele remains with Brighton, continuing to serve as a valuable squad player and an experienced figure in the dressing room. Though he was never capped at senior level for England, he played 7 times for the under-21 team, and his resilience and longevity in the top 2 divisions have earned him quiet respect. At the time of the London Olympics, Neil Taylor was a highly regarded left-back, fresh off an impressive season in the Premier League with Swansea City. Selected as one of the Welsh players in the Team GB squad, Taylor played a key role during the group stage, offering defensive stability and composure on the ball. On the international stage, Taylor earned 43 caps for Wales, famously scoring in their stunning 3-0 win over Russia during the nation's fairy tale run to the Euro 2016 semi-finals. His steady presence made him a trusted figure under Chris Coleman throughout that golden period for Welsh football. At club level, Taylor stayed with Swansea City until 2017 before moving to Aston Villa, where he helped them secure promotion back to the top flight. He would spend 4 seasons at Villa Park before a brief final stint with Middlesbrough, retiring from playing in November 2022. After hanging up his boots, Taylor transitioned into coaching and quickly made an impression. He was appointed manager of Gulf United in the UAE, guiding the club through a remarkable rise in the Emirati football pyramid. In 2024, he returned to the Welsh setup and currently serves as assistant manager of the Wales under-21 national team, helping shape the next generation of talent. In 2012, Ryan Bertrand had just experienced one of the most surreal breakthroughs in modern football. That May, he became the first player in history to make his Champions League debut in a final, starting for Chelsea in their famous victory over Bayern Munich. Just weeks later, he was selected for Team GB at the London Olympics, where he featured regularly as Stuart Pearce's side reached the quarter-finals. Already capped by England at senior level, he would go on to win 19 caps for the Three Lions between 2012 and 2017. Scoring once, and representing his country at Euro 2016. At club level, Bertrand stayed with Chelsea until 2015, and in his 9 years as a professional at Stamford Bridge, he spent most of that time out on loan. With Bournemouth, Oldham Athletic, Norwich City, Reading, Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa, before joining Southampton permanently, it was at Saints where Bertrand truly flourished, becoming a consistent Premier League left-back across 240 appearances, and even earning a spot in the PFA Team of the Year in the 2014-15 season. In 2021, he moved to Leicester City, though injuries would limit his impact. After 2 seasons and limited appearances, Bertrand quietly departed the club, and in June 2024, at the age of 34, he officially announced his retirement from professional football. Since retiring, he has founded his own market trading firm. In 2012, Steven Corker was one of England's most promising young centre-backs. On the books at Tottenham Hotspur, he just enjoyed a breakout loan spell with Swansea City, where he impressed with his composure and physicality in the Premier League. Performances earned him a spot in the Team GB Olympic squad, where he started regularly and helped the team reach the quarter-finals. That same year, Corker would go on to earn his one and only England senior cap, scoring on debut in a friendly against Sweden, a match more famous for Zlatan Ibrahimovic's bicycle kick. Despite showing enormous potential, Corker's career would become one of the most unpredictable of his generation. After leaving Spurs, he joined Cardiff City in 2013 and was made club captain at just 21. Relegation saw him move to QPR, followed by mixed loan spells at Southampton and Liverpool, where he was infamously deployed as an emergency striker under Jurgen Klopp. Off the pitch, Corker was battling mental health issues, gambling addiction, and alcoholism, which he later spoke about candidly. After falling off the radar in English football, he joined Dundee in Scotland before revitalising his career abroad, first in Turkey with Alanyaspor and later Fenerbahce, though he didn't play a game for the latter. He later turned out for Gaziantep and Fatih Karagümrük and Wigan Athletic, before short spells in Spain with Malaga City, then Ankara Keçiörengücü in Turkey again. In 2024, Corker made headlines once more by joining Stjarnan, a top-flight club in Iceland, continuing a career that's taken him across Europe. Internationally, after years of being overlooked by England, Corker switched allegiance to Sierra Leone in 2022, qualifying through his paternal grandfather. He represented them at the Africa Cup of Nations and has since captained the national team. In 2012, Craig Dawson was a highly rated young centre-back on the rise. At the time of the London Olympics, he was on the books at West Bromwich Albion, having joined from Rochdale the year before. Though not a starter for Team GB, he was part of the squad and had impressed at England under-21 level, scoring 6 goals in just 15 appearances. No small feat for a defender. While he never earned a senior England cap, Dawson quietly built a reputation as one of the most dependable and no-nonsense defenders in the English game. After a series of loan spells, most notably with Bolton Wanderers, he became a regular at West Brom, racking up over 150 appearances and staying with them through both Premier League and Championship campaigns. In 2019, he joined Watford, but just a year later made the move that brought him back to the top flight with West Ham United. Initially signed on loan, Dawson's performances were so solid he earned a permanent deal, and he became something of a cult favourite at the London Stadium, especially during their 2021 Europa League run, where his old-school style won over plenty of fans. In January 2023, Dawson joined Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he was a key part of the defence under several managers. He remained a regular until injury struggles began to limit his appearances. At the end of the 2024-25 season, Dawson was released by Wolves. Now aged 35, he is currently a free agent, considering his next steps, whether that's one last move in the lower leagues, a venture abroad, or retirement from the game entirely. James Tomkins was already an experienced top-flight defender. A product of West Ham United's academy, he'd been part of their first team since 2008, and had helped the club earn promotion back to the Premier League just a couple of months before the Olympics. Selected for Team GB, Tomkins played a squad role in the tournament. Despite his solid form at club level and consistent England under-21 appearances, Tomkins was never capped at senior level, a fact many Hammers fans felt was an oversight given his composure and aerial ability. He remained with West Ham until 2016, racking up over 200 appearances for the club before making a £10 million move to Crystal Palace. At Selhurst Park, he became a reliable figure in the backline, playing over 100 games across several seasons, despite struggling with injuries at times. Tomkins stayed with Palace until the summer of 2024. After a lengthy and consistent career in the Premier League and Championship, he officially retired from professional football in the summer of 2024, aged 35. Post-retirement, Tomkins has remained relatively quiet, with no confirmed coaching or media roles to date, though his long career in English football and leadership on the pitch suggest a future in coaching or development could be on the cards. In 2012, Micah Richards was one of the biggest names in the Team GB Olympic squad, and arguably one of its biggest omissions from the England Euro 2012 side earlier that summer. Then a title winner with Manchester City, Richards had just played a key role in their dramatic Premier League triumph, and was still only 24. Snubbed by England for the Euros, Richards accepted Stuart Pearce's offer to join the Team GB squad instead, bringing experience and leadership to a youthful backline. He started multiple games in the tournament, though GB ultimately exited at the quarter-final stage. Richards had already earned 13 senior England caps, scoring once, but that would prove to be the peak of his international career. Injury setbacks plagued the years that followed. Despite starting the 2012-13 season well, recurring knee problems saw him fall down the pecking order at Manchester City, and he never regained his first-team spot consistently. In 2014, he joined Fiorentina on loan, a bold move, though one that didn't fully reignite his career, before returning to England with Aston Villa in 2015. He was made club captain, but injuries continued to limit his impact, and he made just 31 appearances across 4 years at Villa Park. He officially retired from playing in 2019, aged just 31. Since retirement, Richards has reinvented himself in spectacular fashion. His charisma, honesty, and infectious laugh have made him a hugely popular football pundit, featuring on Sky Sports, Match of the Day, and CBS Sports in the US. He's also contributed to the growth of football content in the digital space with podcasts and YouTube appearances. When Danny Rose was selected for Team GB at the London 2012 Olympics, he was still very much a rising star. On the books at Tottenham Hotspur, Rose had famously announced himself with that thunderous volley in the North London derby in 2010, but was still establishing himself as a first-team regular. Though not a guaranteed starter, he impressed with his pace, energy, and attacking intent from left back. At this point, he had already represented England at multiple youth levels, and would go on to earn 29 senior caps, featuring at both Euro 2016 and the 2018 World Cup, where he was part of the squad that reached the semi-finals. His club career at Spurs peaked under Mauricio Pochettino, where he was widely regarded as one of the best left-backs in the Premier League. However, injuries and a fallout with the club hierarchy, including a very public interview criticizing the club's ambition, saw his role diminish. Rose was loaned to Newcastle United in 2020, before being released by Spurs. He signed for Watford in 2021, but made only a handful of appearances, and after falling out of favour, left the club in 2022. Though not officially retired at that point, he stepped away from the professional game and remained a free agent, until eventually announcing his retirement 2 years later. In the years since, Rose has largely stayed out of the spotlight, making only occasional appearances in the media, and leaving fans to wonder whether he might return in some off-pitch capacity. Tom Cleverley was tipped as one of the brightest midfield hopes in English football. A product of Manchester United's academy, he'd just broken into the first team under Sir Alex Ferguson, and was highly regarded for his energy, neat passing, and intelligence on the ball. Cleverley had already broken into the England senior team by then, and would go on to earn 13 caps between 2012 and 2013. At club level, he played 79 times for Manchester United, winning the Premier League title in 2012-13, but struggled to win over the fans as expectations rose. Following the retirement of Sir Alex Ferguson, Cleverley was one of a number of players who struggled to rediscover his form. And following a loan spell at Aston Villa, he joined Everton in 2015 before eventually settling at Watford, initially on loan, then permanently in 2017. At Watford, Cleverley became a dependable figure both in the Premier League and Championship. He made over 120 appearances for the club, and was part of the side that reached the 2019 FA Cup final. He officially retired from playing in the summer of 2023, citing injury issues that had plagued his final seasons. After retirement, Cleverley swiftly moved into coaching, initially taking charge of Watford in an interim basis, where he impressed with his leadership and tactical insight. He was officially appointed permanent manager in April 2024, but was sacked after a season in charge. As of July 2025, Cleverley is now the manager of Championship side Plymouth Argyle. Joe Allen was one of the rising stars of Welsh football. A classy, composed midfielder with an eye for a pass, he had just made a big move from Swansea City to Liverpool, reuniting with Brendan Rodgers. That summer, he represented Team GB at the London Olympics, becoming one of the few Welsh players selected. His inclusion reflected his growing reputation, as he started regularly in midfield and played a key role in GB's run to the quarter-finals. Allen had already been capped by Wales by then, and would go on to become one of the cornerstones of their golden era, earning 74 caps, scoring twice, and becoming a national hero at Euro 2016, where he was named in the UEFA team of the tournament as Wales reached the semi-finals. After his time at Liverpool, Allen joined Stoke City in 2016, where he remained a key figure for 6 seasons, making over 200 appearances and becoming club captain. In 2022, he made an emotional return to Swansea City, helping to guide a younger squad while still showcasing his tidy distribution and work ethic. In 2023, Allen officially retired from international football, and in May 2025, he brought his professional career to a close, bowing out with quiet dignity as one of Wales's most respected modern midfielders. By the time of the London Olympics, Ryan Giggs had already cemented himself as one of the greatest players in British football history. A one-club legend at Manchester United, his glittering career included 13 Premier League titles, 2 Champions Leagues, 4 FA Cups, and nearly 1,000 appearances for club and country. Yet despite all that silverware, Giggs had never played in a major international tournament. That changed in 2012, when at 38, he was selected as one of the 3 overage players to captain Team GB at the Olympics. It marked his only appearance at a tournament. Giggs even scored in the group stage, becoming the oldest goalscorer in Olympic football history at the time, and led Team GB to the quarter-finals. In 2013, he moved into coaching at United, serving as a player coach under David Moyes. In 2014, he took charge of the first team briefly as caretaker manager following Moyes' departure, before stepping back to assistant manager under Louis van Gaal. In 2018, Giggs became manager of the Wales national team, guiding them to qualification for Euro 2020. However, off-the-pitch legal issues led him to step aside in 2020, and he officially resigned in 2022. Since then, Giggs has quietly returned to football in a dual role. He is a co-owner and director of football at Salford City, the club backed by Manchester United's famous class of '92, and has also assisted Carl Robinson on the bench in an unofficial coaching capacity. His influence continues behind the scenes, helping shape the club's footballing structure and recruitment. Jack Cork was a rising midfield presence who quietly went about his work with maturity and consistency beyond his years. Fresh off helping Southampton win promotion to the Premier League, Cork was selected for Team GB at the London Olympics. Although he only ever earned a single England cap in 2017, Cork represented his country 13 times at under-21 level and carved out a highly respected club career, built on hard work and tactical intelligence. He started out at Chelsea, though he never made a senior appearance for the Blues, instead honing his craft through loan spells at Bournemouth, Scunthorpe United, Southampton, Watford, Coventry City, and Burnley. A permanent move to Southampton in 2011 saw him become a Premier League mainstay, followed by a stint at Swansea City, and then a second, and far more defining, spell at Burnley. At Turf Moor, Cork became a key figure under Sean Dyche, helping the Clarets to Premier League survival, and even European qualification in 2018. He remained a dependable presence right through to 2024, when he initially left the club after over 200 appearances. But his Burnley story wasn't quite over. Later that same year, Cork returned to the club in a dual-player coach capacity, making headlines as one of the few veteran professionals to feature regularly in under-21 matches, while also cutting his teeth in coaching. In a rare and refreshing twist, he became both mentor and teammate to Burnley's next generation, an unusual but effective role. In summer 2025, he officially transitioned into a first-team coaching role, continuing his career at the club where he arguably made the biggest impact. Aaron Ramsey was already one of the most exciting midfielders in British football. At just 21 years old, he had captained Wales, become a mainstay at Arsenal, and was widely tipped to be the heartbeat of both club and country for years to come. At the Olympics, he played a central role for Team GB, scoring 2 penalties in the same game against South Korea, one in normal time, one in the shootout. Ramsey's early club career had seen a meteoric rise, starting at Cardiff City, joining Arsenal in 2008, and overcoming a horrific leg break in 2010 to establish himself as a match winner. He scored the decisive goals in both the 2014 and 2017 FA Cup finals, becoming a fan favourite for his tireless running and knack for scoring important goals. In 2019, he made a big switch to Juventus, becoming one of the highest-paid British players abroad. He won Serie A in his first season, but injuries and competition for places limited his impact. A loan to Rangers in 2022 followed, where he played in the Europa League final, missing a penalty in the shootout defeat to Frankfurt. He spent the 2022-23 season with OGC Nice in France before making a romantic return to Cardiff City in 2023, signing a 2-year deal. While he impressed with flashes of quality and leadership, fitness issues continued to plague his time in South Wales. Then came a surprise twist. In summer 2025, Ramsey made a left-field move by signing for Mexican giants UNAM Pumas, continuing his career in Liga MX. At 34, it was a bold and unexpected chapter, one that has intrigued fans both in Wales and abroad. Internationally, Ramsey has been a crucial part of Wales's golden era. He has earned over 80 caps and playing key roles in Euro 2016, Euro 2020, and the 2022 World Cup, the country's first in 64 years. As of now, he remains on the periphery of the national team setup, though age and injuries have seen his role reduce. Scott Sinclair was seen as one of the most exciting young attackers in the country. The former Chelsea youngster had finally found his feet after 6 loans in 5 years. In 2012, he was fresh off an impressive spell at Swansea City, where he famously bagged a hat-trick in the 2011 playoff final, and became a key figure in their debut Premier League season. Sinclair's selection felt like a natural fit for a vibrant, attack-minded Olympic squad. He featured in all 4 of GB's games as they reached the quarter-finals. Though he never earned a senior England cap, Sinclair represented the 3 Lions at youth level, including the under-21 team. His performances earned him a high-profile move to Manchester City later that summer, but what followed was a frustrating and stunted chapter. Competing with an all-star cast in the early years of the Sheikh Mansour era, Sinclair found himself on the fringes, making just 19 appearances in all competitions over 3 years. In hindsight, he's often cited as one of the biggest flops of the post-takeover City era, through no fault of his own, simply caught in the wrong move at the wrong time. Loan spells followed at West Brom and Aston Villa, and eventually a permanent move to Celtic, where his career enjoyed a dramatic resurgence. Reunited with Brendan Rodgers in Glasgow, Sinclair rediscovered his form and became a fan favourite, scoring 25 goals in his debut season and winning the Scottish PFA Player of the Year award. He helped Celtic to 3 Premiership titles, 2 Scottish Cups and 2 League Cups, playing a pivotal role in their domestic dominance. In 2020, Sinclair returned to the EFL with Preston North End, before making a romantic return to Bristol Rovers, the club where he started his youth career. He spent 2 seasons there before leaving in the summer of 2025, and is currently a free agent. Daniel Sturridge was seen as one of England's most gifted young strikers. At the time of the London Olympics, he was on the books at Chelsea, having shown flashes of brilliance but struggling to nail down a regular place since his move from Manchester City in 2009. He was selected as one of Team GB's 3 overage players and led the line in the tournament, scoring once and helping them reach the quarter-finals. That same season saw Sturridge make a pivotal move in his club career, joining Liverpool in January 2013. It proved to be a turning point. He hit the ground running and formed one of the most feared attacking partnerships in Premier League history alongside Luis Suarez. In the 2013-14 season, he scored 21 league goals as Liverpool came agonizingly close to winning the title. At his peak, Sturridge combined pace, movement, and deadly finishing, a complete modern striker when fully fit. But fitness would ultimately become the story of his career. Persistent injuries saw him miss long stretches of seasons, and while he remained at Anfield until 2019, even scoring in the 2016 Europa League final and being part of the 2019 Champions League winning squad, he was rarely a consistent starter after 2015. Internationally, he was capped 26 times by England, scoring 8 goals, playing and scoring at both World Cup 2014 and Euro 2016. After a brief loan at West Brom, he would leave Liverpool, moving on to a brief and less successful stint with Trabzonspor in Turkey, which ended abruptly in 2020, after a 4-month worldwide ban for breaching betting regulations. He then had a short-lived spell at Perth Glory in Australia, which yielded just 6 appearances. Since then, Sturridge has not played professionally, though he has not officially announced retirement. Off the pitch, he's become a popular pundit, appearing on Sky Sports, BBC, and social media platforms, where his humor and personality have earned him a new fan base. He's also involved in various entrepreneurial ventures, including fashion and music. Marvin Sordell was arguably the most obscure player selected for GB that summer. Just 21 at the time, he'd earned his move to Bolton Wanderers from Watford earlier that year, and was seen as a promising young striker with a bright future. He featured in all 4 of Team GB's matches during the tournament, including the quarter-final exit to South Korea. Unfortunately, the promise shown in his early years never quite translated into a consistent top-flight career. He struggled for regular starts at Bolton, and was sent on loan to Charlton Athletic, before stints with Burnley, Colchester United, Coventry City, and finally, Burton Albion. In 2019, at just 28 years old, Sordell announced his retirement from professional football, opening up candidly about his battles with mental health, identity, and life in the game. He became an outspoken advocate for mental health awareness, working with organizations like Calm and Sporting Chance, becoming a filmmaker and public speaker in the process. But in a surprising twist, Sordell came out of retirement in 2024, 5 years after his last professional appearance. He would join Kettering Town, a Southern League side, and contributed to their FA Cup run, and playing in their defeat of local rivals Northampton Town. He followed that with a move to Rayners Lane, competing in the Southern League Division 1 Central in 2025. Craig Bellamy was one of the highest-profile names in Team GB's Olympic squad in 2012. At 33, he was one of the 3 overage players permitted and brought bags of experience, passion, and that famous fiery edge. He played a key role in guiding the team to the quarter-finals. Internationally, he had been capped by Wales 78 times, scoring 19 goals, between 1998 and 2013. At the time, Bellamy had just returned to Cardiff City, his boyhood club, after spells with the likes of Liverpool, Manchester City, West Ham, Blackburn, Newcastle, and Celtic. In the 2012-13 season, he helped Cardiff earn promotion to the Premier League for the first time in the modern era, and would play one final top-flight campaign before retiring in 2014. Post-retirement, Bellamy moved into coaching and punditry. He initially worked with Cardiff's academy before joining Vincent Kompany's coaching staff at Anderlecht in Belgium. The pair formed a close working partnership, with Bellamy known for his intense coaching style and emphasis on player development. In 2022, he followed Kompany back to England, becoming assistant manager at Burnley, helping oversee the team's return to the Premier League. His stock as a coach continued to rise, with many tipping him for a future in management. Although he was speculated to follow Kompany to Bayern Munich. That prediction didn't come true, and in July 2024, Bellamy was appointed manager of the Welsh national team, a move that was widely welcomed in Wales. Seen as a passionate figure who embodies the spirit of Welsh football, he now leads a talented young squad in a new era, following the retirements of icons like Gareth Bale, Joe Allen and Aaron Ramsey. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and check out our other videos for more retro football content.